The morning sun was already high, casting a lazy, golden hue through the slightly ajar window of Sophia's compact, yet cosy kitchen. The scent of brewed coffee filled the air, a testament to her attempt to start the day right. As she scrolled absent-mindedly through her phone, her fingers paused on an email notification, a stark contrast to the usual junk mail that cluttered her inbox. It was from Jesse. Sophia's heart skipped a beat. Jesse, his name alone was enough to send a flurry of memories rushing back, memories she had neatly packed away in the attic of her mind. With a hesitant thumb, she tapped open the email, her eyes scanning the digital invitation attached. Jesse and Martha cordially invite you. The words blurred as a cocktail of emotions surged through her. Why now? After all this time, she muttered to herself, the bitterness creeping into her voice. The phone buzzed again, snapping her out of her reverie. It was a text from her best friend, Alex. Morning, Soph. How's the coffee goddess today? Sophia couldn't help but smile, a welcome distraction from the turmoil within. Just received an invite to Jesse and Martha's wedding. Can you believe it? There was a brief pause before Alex replied, the typing bubble popping up and disappearing as if he was choosing his words carefully. Wow, that's ... awkward. You gonna go? Sophia stared at the message, pondering. The Sophia that Jesse and Martha remembered was different, less confident, less herself. Since their breakup, she had transformed her life, channeling her pain into something constructive. She founded her own startup, which was now thriving, and embraced her love for adventure and travel. She had grown, and part of her wanted Jesse, and especially Martha, to see that. Part of me wants to show up, just to see the look on their faces. That's the spirit. Show them how much you've rocked since then. But do it for you, Soph, not for them. Sophia smiled, warmth spreading through her. Alex always knew what to say. Thanks, Alex. I think I needed to hear that. I'll think about it. She set the phone down, her gaze drifting back to the invitation. If she decided to go, it wouldn't be to seek validation or revenge. No, it would be a declaration of her own strength and independence. A testament to the person she had become in spite of, or perhaps because of their betrayal. With a deep breath, Sophia stood up, her decision not entirely made but feeling lighter for having shared her turmoil. The day awaited, filled with its own challenges and triumphs, and Sophia was ready to meet them head-on, with or without an invitation to a past that no longer held her captive. The week following the arrival of the wedding invitation was a rollercoaster for Sophia. Each day she swung between determined indignation and moments of doubt. Yet, as the days passed, an unwavering resolve began to solidify within her. One evening, while working late on a project that could potentially clinch a deal for her startup, she realized how much she had evolved. The screen glowed, illuminating the determination etched on her face, a stark contrast to the woman who, 2 years ago, would have crumbled under such pressure. Her phone buzzed, breaking the silence. It was a message from her sister Mia, who had been her rock during the tumultuous breakup period. Hey, you up? Can't sleep and need my sister's wisdom. Sophia chuckled, welcoming the distraction. Always. What's on your mind? Remember how you turned your pain into your power after Jesse? I'm at a crossroads myself. How did you do it? This was the moment Sophia realized the extent of her growth, not just in her career but as a beacon for others too. It wasn't overnight, Mia. Every day I chose to focus on me, on what I could control, my work, my health, my dreams, and slowly I rebuilt myself. I admire that about you. You're like a phoenix. Sophia smiled softly, her heart swelling with pride. She had indeed risen from the ashes of her past, stronger and more vibrant. You have that same fire within you, Mia. We all do. Sometimes it just takes a bit of heartbreak to ignite it. Their conversation meandered on, from heartbreak to hope, and by the end of it, Sophia felt a renewed sense of purpose. It wasn't just about proving Jesse and Martha wrong, it was about affirming to herself the distance she had come. The next morning, Sophia awoke with a clarity she hadn't felt in a long time. She laced up her running shoes and hit the pavement as the city slowly stirred to life. Each step was a reminder of her journey, a mix of pain, perseverance, and ultimately triumph. As she rounded the corner back to her apartment, Sophia decided she would attend the wedding, not as a shadow of her past, but as a testament to her resilience. This decision wasn't born out of a need for closure or a desire for revenge. It was a celebration of her resurgence, a declaration that she was no longer defined by her past relationships, but by the strength of her character and the success she had achieved on her own terms. I'm going to that wedding, not for them, but for me. To show myself how far I've come. And with that, Sophia's path forward became clear, illuminated by the inner strength that had carried her through her darkest days. The wedding would be just another step in her journey, a moment to reflect on how much she had grown and to look forward to the limitless possibilities that lay ahead. Sophia's transformation over the past 2 years wasn't just an emotional journey, it was physical, professional, and profoundly personal. The decision to attend Jessie and Martha's wedding as a testament to her growth added a new layer of determination to her stride. Her business was her first real step toward independence. She poured her heart and soul into her startup, turning it into a success story that echoed her resilience. But Sophia knew that true transformation touched more than just the professional surface, it seeped into the very essence of her being. One evening, she found herself at a local cafe with her close friend Liam, who had been both a mentor and a confidant through her entrepreneurial journey. "You seem different, Soph. There's a spark in your eyes I haven't seen before." Sophia sipped her coffee, contemplating his observation. "I guess I've finally started to see the value in myself, beyond what anyone else thinks. It's liberating. It's more than just self-esteem, isn't it? It's like you've built this whole new world around you." Sophia nodded, her mind drifting to the upcoming wedding. "I've decided to go to Jessie and Martha's wedding. Not to show off or anything, but to prove to myself that I've moved on." Liam raised an eyebrow, a hint of concern in his voice. "Liam, are you sure that's a good idea? Facing your past head-on is bold, but it can also reopen old wounds." Sophia understood his concern, but her decision was rooted in something deeper than the need to confront her past. "It's not just about facing them, Liam. It's about embracing who I've become. This is a chance to celebrate my journey, with or without their acknowledgement." Liam nodded, a slow smile spreading across his face. "Well, if anyone can turn a potentially awkward situation into a moment of triumph, it's you." Their conversation shifted to lighter topics, but Sophia's thoughts lingered on her transformation. It wasn't just about proving her worth to Jessie, Martha, or anyone else, it was about reclaiming her narrative and celebrating the person she had become. In the weeks leading up to the wedding, Sophia threw herself into her work with renewed vigor, but she also took time to nurture herself. She rediscovered old hobbies that she had neglected and explored new interests that challenged her. Each new experience added layers to her character, making her more complex, more interesting, more her. The night before the wedding, Sophia stood in front of her mirror, trying on the outfit she had chosen for the occasion. The reflection that stared back at her was of a woman who knew her worth, who had battled through the darkest nights to greet the dawn of her new day. "This is me. Not the woman Jessie left, not the person who doubted her worth, but someone stronger, brighter, and fully in control of her destiny." With that affirmation, Sophia felt a sense of peace settle over her. Tomorrow, she would walk into that wedding not as a reminder of the past, but as a beacon of her own future, a future she had carved out with her own hands, shaped by her dreams, her determination, and her undeniable spirit of transformation. The day of the wedding arrived with a mix of anticipation and apprehension for Sophia. Dressed in a way that reflected both her newfound confidence and her unique sense of style, she made her way to the venue, a picturesque estate that seemed to whisper tales of love and promises. As she stepped into the celebration, a wave of recognition and surprise washed over the faces of many guests. Whispers filled the air, a blend of curiosity and admiration. Sophia navigated the crowd with a grace that was born from her journey of self-discovery, her head held high, not seeking validation but simply being present in her own right. Among the murmurs, one voice broke through, clear and somewhat uncertain. "Sophia, Is that you? Jessie stood there, looking like a fragment from her past that no longer fit into the mosaic of her present. Sophia turned, offering him a smile that was both polite and detached. Yes, Jessie, it's good to see you. Congratulations. Jessie's eyes searched hers, looking for the girl he once knew, but finding instead a woman who seemed almost a stranger. You look different. Amazing, but different. Sophia's smile remained, touched with a hint of amusement. People change, Jessie. Life moves on. I'm glad to see you happy. The conversation hung awkwardly between them, a bridge trying to span a chasm too wide. It was then Martha approached, her gaze flickering with a mix of curiosity and challenge as she took in Sophia's transformation. Wow, Sophia, you really decided to show up. And look at you, all ... changed, Martha said, her words laced with a tone that hinted at surprise and, perhaps, a sliver of envy. Sophia met Martha's gaze evenly, her voice calm and devoid of malice. Yes, Martha, I believe in celebrating love, even from the past. I wish you both all the happiness. The air was thick with unspoken words and tensions, but Sophia's composure remained unshaken. She had not come to stir the waters of the past, but to sail smoothly over them, showcasing her growth. As Sophia excused herself to mingle with other guests, she could feel Jessie and Martha's eyes on her, filled with questions and maybe a hint of regret. But Sophia was focused on the horizon of her own life, no longer tethered to the anchors of her past relationships. Throughout the evening, Sophia engaged in conversations, her laughter genuine and her presence undeniable. Guests were drawn to her, intrigued by the woman who had turned her pain into her power. In a quiet moment, as she stepped out onto the terrace for some air, Alex joined her. A knowing smile on his face. You're the talk of the wedding, you know. Everyone's amazed at how much you've changed. Sophia looked out into the night, her heart light. I didn't do it for them, Alex. This change was for me. Their opinion doesn't define me anymore. Alex nodded, proud. That's the best part, Soph. You've shown everyone here, especially Jessie and Martha, that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. On your own terms. Sophia's transformation wasn't just visible in her appearance but in her aura. She was a testament to the fact that sometimes the greatest confrontations didn't need battles, they needed a peaceful showing of strength and grace. As the night wore on, Sophia realized that this confrontation wasn't with Jessie or Martha, it was with herself. And standing there, under the canopy of stars, she knew she had emerged victorious. As the wedding festivities swirled around her, Sophia found herself more of an observer than a participant. She watched as Jessie and Martha danced, laughed and celebrated their union, a sight that once would have brought her to tears. Yet tonight, her heart felt surprisingly light. A revelation was unfolding within her, not with fanfare, but with the gentle whisper of self-awareness. It wasn't long before she found herself outside, gazing at the stars that twinkled like distant beacons. The cool night air was a balm, soothing the edges of any lingering discomfort. She wasn't alone for long. Jessie approached, a glass of champagne in hand, his expression unreadable. Can we talk? Jessie's voice was hesitant, almost vulnerable. Sophia turned, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the complexity of emotions she once felt for him. Of course, Jessie. What's on your mind? Jessie looked down at his glass, swirling the liquid as if seeking courage within its depths. Seeing you tonight so different, I realized how much I've lost. Not just you, but the person you've become. I'm sorry, Sophia, for everything. Sophia listened, her heart compassionate but detached from the pain that once defined this relationship. Thank you, Jessie. But you didn't lose me, we both moved on to the paths we were meant to follow. My journey wasn't about what I lost, but what I found within myself. Jessie nodded, a semblance of understanding dawning in his eyes. And what did you find? He asked, genuinely curious. I found strength, Jessie. Not just to overcome the pain, but to build something beautiful from it. My business, my peace, my sense of self, all of it came from that place of breaking. So I thank you for setting me on this path. Their conversation was a bridge to closure, built not from the remnants of their past, but from the acknowledgement of their individual growth. Jessie's eyes held a mix of admiration and regret as he looked at Sophia, recognizing, perhaps for the first time, the depth of the woman she had always been and the one she had become. "Martha doesn't know how lucky she is," he admitted softly, a confession veiled as a compliment. Sophia smiled, her grace in forgiveness shining through. "We both deserve happiness, Jessie. I found mine in ways I never expected. I hope you find yours too." As they parted ways, returning to the celebration, Sophia felt a profound sense of liberation. The revelation of the evening wasn't about her triumph over a lost love or the validation of her worth, but the recognition of her own resilience. The wedding, with all its elegance and joy, became a backdrop to Sophia's own celebration of self-discovery. She mingled, danced and laughed, her spirit light and her heart open. The guests, many of whom had whispered about her transformation, now saw her not as a curiosity but as an inspiration. In a quiet moment, as the night drew to a close, Sophia stood alone, looking out at the horizon where the first light of dawn was beginning to glow. The revelation of her journey was complete, not with grand gestures or dramatic confrontations, but with the quiet acknowledgement of her own strength and the limitless potential of her future. As she prepared to leave, a sense of peace enveloped her, the kind that comes from deep within, from knowing that the only approval she ever needed was her own. Sophia left the wedding not as a chapter in someone else's story, but as the author of her own, ready to write the next, most vibrant chapter of her life. The night of the wedding was drawing to a close, its final hours marked by the softening music and the slow departure of guests. Sophia, having navigated the evening with a sense of quiet triumph, knew her own time to leave was near. But there was one last thing she wanted to do, a gesture that held more significance than anyone might realize. Tucked away in her elegantly simple clutch was a small, beautifully wrapped package. It was not grandiose, but every detail of its wrapping spoke of thoughtfulness and care. Sophia had pondered long and hard about whether to leave this gift, but as the night unfolded, she knew it was the right thing to do. Approaching the table laden with gifts and well wishes, Sophia placed her own offering at the edge, where it wouldn't immediately draw attention but would eventually be found. As she straightened up, her hand lingering on the smooth ribbon, Mia approached, a curious look in her eye. "What's that you're leaving? I thought you said gifts were a no-go for this event." Sophia smiled, a mix of sadness and peace in her eyes. "It's not just a gift, Mia. It's a message, a piece of my journey, wrapped up for them. Can I ask what's inside? Or is it a secret meant only for them?" Sophia glanced back at the small package, contemplating how much to share. "It's a photograph. From a time when things were simpler, happier, before everything changed, and a letter." Mia's expression softened, understanding dawning. "Soph, that's really brave of you. What does the letter say?" Sophia looked out towards the night, where the stars shone with a clarity that mirrored her own. "It says thank you. Thank you for the lessons, for the pain, for pushing me to find my strength. It says I'm moving on, with no bitterness, only gratitude." Mia wrapped an arm around Sophia, her admiration evident. "You really are something else, you know that? Not many people could do what you're doing." Sophia leaned into the hug, allowing herself a moment of vulnerability. "It took me a long time to get here, Mia, to a place where I can genuinely wish them well and mean it. This gift, it's my way of letting go, completely." "And what about you? What's next for Sophia, the phoenix rising from her ashes?" Sophia laughed softly, the sound mingling with the night breeze. "Next? I keep rising, Mia. I keep building, growing, loving. There's so much life out there waiting for me." This, she gestured towards the gift, is just one step on a journey that's far from over. As they walked away from the gift table, Sophia felt a weight lift off her shoulders, a symbolic release of the past and a step towards whatever came next. The gift, simple yet profound, was her final goodbye to a chapter that had shaped her in unimaginable ways. Leaving the wedding behind, Sophia felt more herself than she had in years. The night had been one of revelations and farewells, but as she stepped into the cool night air, she knew that the most exciting chapters of her story were still unwritten. With a heart full of hope and a spirit unburdened by the past, Sophia was ready to greet the dawn of her new beginning. As Sophia and Mia stepped outside into the crisp night air, the buzz from the wedding seemed to fade into a distant murmur, replaced by the quiet of the night and the occasional laughter of guests taking a breather. Sophia felt a sense of completeness, a chapter closed with grace and dignity. Walking a little away from the venue to catch their breath and enjoy the night sky, they found themselves reflecting on the evening. It was Mia who broke the silence. "You know, Soph, I think you were the real star of the show tonight. Not just because of how you looked or what you've achieved, but because of how you've handled everything." Sophia looked at her, a soft smile playing on her lips. "I don't know about being a star, Mia, but if shining a little brighter helps others see their way out of the dark, then I'm all for it." They shared a quiet laugh, the kind that comes from understanding and shared experiences. As they talked, Alex joined them, his timing impeccable as always. "There you two are. Escaping the madness." Sophia nodded, her eyes twinkling in the moonlight. "Just needed a moment to breathe. It's been a lot." "Well, from an outsider's perspective, you handled tonight like a champ. Everyone's been talking about the mysterious woman who stole the show." Sophia rolled her eyes, but the warmth in her cheeks couldn't be denied. "They must not have much to talk about if I'm the topic of conversation." "Oh, come on, Soph. It's not just about how you've changed on the outside. There's a vibe about you, a certainty in who you are. It's magnetic." Sophia took a moment to let his words sink in, looking back at the venue lit up against the night sky. "I guess tonight was more important to me than I thought. Not because of Jessie or Martha, but because it was a test for myself. Could I face my past without losing sight of who I've become? And I think I passed." "Passed? You aced it. You're not the same Sophia who was shattered by Jessie's betrayal. You're this incredible, self-made woman who faces her fears head-on." Sophia's response was thoughtful, a reflection of the journey she had been on. "I've realized that it's not about erasing the past or even getting over it. It's about weaving it into the fabric of who you are. My relationship with Jessie, the breakup, it's all part of my story, but it doesn't define me. I define me." "And that's why you're the real star tonight, Soph? Not because you showed up looking like $1,000,000, but because you showed everyone, including yourself, how far you've come." The trio shared a moment of silent reflection, looking up at the stars that shone with indifference to the dramas of Earth. Yet, in that moment, Sophia felt connected to the universe in a way she never had before, small yet infinite, her light unique among billions. "Let's go back in. I want to say my goodbyes before we head out. Tonight was a victory, not just for me, but for anyone who's ever had to pick themselves up and start over." As they made their way back to the venue, Sophia walked with a lightness in her step, surrounded by friends who had become her chosen family. The real star of the evening wasn't the bride or even Sophia herself. It was the undeniable proof that out of heartbreak and despair, one could rise, transform, and shine brighter than before. Sophia's gift to Jessie and Martha was more than just a token of forgiveness. It was a declaration of her independence and a testament to her resilience. And as the night came to a close, Sophia knew that the brightest stars were not those that shone in the sky, but those that illuminated the darkest nights with the light of their own making. As the wedding wound down and the final notes of music faded into the quiet of the early morning, Sophia found herself standing once more at the edge of the celebration, watching as guests offered their last hugs and congratulations before departing. The air was cool and carried the promise of a new beginning, not just for Jessie and Martha, but for Sophia herself. Alex and Mia, ever her loyal companions through thick and thin, came to stand beside her, each offering a smile that spoke volumes of the journey they had shared. "So, how does it feel? Closing this chapter, I mean." Sophia looked out into the darkness, where the first hint of dawn was starting to paint the sky in shades of grey and blue. "It feels right. Like I'm finally ready to leave all of this behind and step into something new, something entirely my own." "You've come a long way, Soph. We're proud of you." "I couldn't have done it without you both. You know, there were times I thought I'd never get over Jessie. that I'd always be stuck in that moment of heartbreak. But tonight, I realized that I've grown past it. Past him. The warmth of the moment enveloped them, a testament to the strength of their bonds and the resilience of the human spirit. So what's next for our phoenix rising from the ashes? Sophia laughed, the sound mingling with the early morning birdsong. Well, I've been thinking a lot about that. I want to take what I've learned from my business, from my personal growth, and help others find their path. Maybe start a mentorship program, or even a podcast. A podcast? That sounds amazing. You have so much to share, Soph. I know people will be inspired by your story. Sophia, that's the plan. I want to take all the pain, the lessons and the triumphs and turn them into something positive. Who knows? If my story can help even one person feel less alone, then it's all been worth it. The sky was growing lighter now, the first rays of the sun peeking over the horizon, casting everything in a soft, golden glow. It was as if the world was affirming Sophia's decision to move forward, to embrace the beauty of new beginnings. I can't wait to see where this journey takes you, Soph. You're going to do great things. I just know it. Sophia turned to her friends, her heart full. In that moment, surrounded by the people who mattered most, she felt an overwhelming sense of peace and possibility. Thanks, you two. For everything. Let's go home. We have a new chapter to start. And with that, they turned together, walking away from the wedding and toward the promise of the day dawning before them. Sophia's steps were light, her heart unburdened. She was ready to face whatever came next, to write her own story on her own terms. The wedding had been a turning point, not because of the closure it offered with Jessie and Martha, but because it reaffirmed the incredible journey Sophia had undertaken. As they drove away, the sun climbed higher, casting its warm, hopeful light over the world. Sophia looked out the window, her eyes bright with dreams of the future. The road ahead was uncharted, filled with endless possibilities and opportunities for growth and happiness. Sophia's story was far from over. In many ways, it was just beginning a new chapter waiting to be written, full of potential and the promise of new adventures. And as the first chapter of her new life unfolded, Sophia knew that she had the strength, the courage and the heart to make it a story worth telling. Several months had passed since Jessie and Martha's wedding, and Sophia's life had taken on a vibrant new rhythm. The dawn of independence in her life was marked not just by her business success, but by the impactful connections she was making through her new podcast, Paths of Resilience. It was a sunny morning in her studio where she was wrapping up a recording session with Mia, who had become a regular contributor. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, and a huge thank you to Mia for sharing her insights on overcoming adversity. Always a pleasure, Soph. I love what you're doing here. It's not just a podcast, it's a lifeline for some. Turning off the equipment, Sophia leaned back in her chair, a sense of accomplishment washing over her. I never imagined it would grow like this. I started it to share my journey, hoping it might help someone else, but it's become so much more. You're making a difference, Soph. It's incredible to see. The studio door opened, and Alex popped his head in, a grin on his face. Am I interrupting the post-recording glow? Never. Come in. What's up? Just wanted to see how the superstar is doing. Oh, and your latest episode broke another download record. Sophia's eyes widened, a mix of disbelief and pride flickering across her face. Really? That's ... Wow, I don't even have words. See? What did I tell you? You're a natural at this. Not just a natural, a beacon. You've turned your experiences into something that lights the way for others. It's inspiring. Sophia felt a warm glow at his words, a far cry from the uncertainty that once clouded her path. Thank you both. But it's not just me. It's every guest who's shared their story, every listener who finds a piece of themselves in those stories. We're all part of this journey. And to think, this all started with you deciding to attend a wedding. Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago. It was the catalyst though, wasn't it? A moment that sparked so much change. I think it was more than just a moment for you, Soph. It was the point where you truly embraced your independence, where Sophia 2.0 really began. Sophia nodded, the truth of his words resonating deeply. Independence ... It's a powerful thing. I've learned it's not just about being alone or doing things on your own. It's about owning your story, your decisions, your future, and helping others to do the same. The room was filled with a comfortable silence, a shared understanding of the journey they had all undertaken, each in their own way. Here's to independence, then, to the paths we choose and the lives we touch along the way. Here. They raised their coffee mugs in a silent toast, the morning light streaming in through the windows, heralding the start of another day. Outside, the world went about its business, unaware of the small but significant revolution happening within the walls of Sophia's studio. As they continued to chat, planning future episodes and brainstorming ideas to expand the podcast's reach, Sophia felt a profound sense of gratitude. The dawn of independence in her life was more than just a phase, it was a permanent shift towards authenticity, connection, and empowerment. She had found her voice, her purpose, and in doing so, had helped others find theirs. This epilogue wasn't just the end of Sophia's story, it was a beacon for anyone standing at the crossroads of change, a reminder that every end heralds a new beginning. Sophia's journey of resilience and rebirth was a testament to the power of embracing one's independence, not just as a state of being but as a way of life. Let us know in the comments how this story has inspired you, or share your own experiences of overcoming adversity. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heart-touching stories like this one. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest uploads. Your journey through the complexities of the human heart starts now. Remember, your story isn't over yet. It's just a new chapter beginning. Stay strong, stay inspired.